Powder Room. The Powder Room.
Hello! Yes, good evening. We are back. It's a brand new episode, the very first one of a brand new season, and a bit of a new look.
We're liking the new look.
I'm liking the new look as well. Beautiful colours, etc., etc. Okay, so we have Leslie and Megan and Susan with us tonight, but we also have our wonderful audience, friends and family and pride. So, I know that you'll want to say about La Galore literally came in with the most perfect beach day on the 1st of June. Un poquito más tarde this year.
Yes, yes. I had been one day before. Una vez
Last
he
week was
ido.
nice.
I went, pero not on the Sunday, pero it was beautiful. Yesterday the beach was fantastic. Well,
Yeah,
ya
it was
está,
the
back on
perfect
track.
day.
Yes.
You're happy, you know?
Oh,
I'm
claro que
very
I'm happy.
unhappy.
Me
I'm
too.
happy. You are unhappy.
You know how I love the beach.
Yeah, yeah. Me and Leslie are very unhappy.
Tipática.
What is funny as well is that you're very happy, and for those that don't know, I had my 60th birthday in March. Leslie, you had your 60th just this weekend.
Saturday, yep.
Megan, you're still wearing nappies. And Susan, you had your 60th too, well, 6 months ago.
Yeah, last August.
But you're the only one that's happy about it.
Oh, I love being 60.
I'm happy.
Are you happy about it?
Me encanta.
Yeah, I'm embracing. I'm embracing the 60.
Why? It's
Okay,
wonderful.
Yeah, it is. It's good.
Oh, it's great.
When
you
do
get
you start
away with a lot.
embracing?
I'm embracing.
When do you get there?
Love
Is it like 40? When do you start embracing?
Yeah, I've never been bothered about any of them.
me
so
neither.
I like
the big
it.
birthdays.
The 30s hit different. I don't like them. They're odd.
60 is good.
So
it's good to be alive.
60-year-olds, officially the oldest in the powder room.
Me.
Susan's the
Me?
oldest.
Yeah, but I mean, we're three
Yeah.
at 60, officially the oldest. You, Megan, el baby. Bueno, we have a lot for you as usual, but we also have something new, because much as I love talking to my audience and then getting involved in the subjects that we cover, I also would like to hear from you. So now technology has taken, you know, the front-running place here, and I'm not techie, so I hope I do this properly, and you can I was going to say email. You can WhatsApp us on 350-540-55200 with your comments and your opinions on the subjects that we cover here in the Powder Room. Or you might just want to say you're enjoying the programme and welcome back. Completely up to you. And I hopefully will be able to refer to those text messages during the course of the programme. Let's set off with our very first subject, and that is the Rock Report. Right, so Gibraltar is undergoing a lot of major changes, and one of them is CCTV cameras. At the end of the day, there's been a lot being said because there is this issue with feeling safe with the frontier, very big changes there. And of course, we've got other issues too that CCTV can help with, and some of that has to do with behaviour in estates by our youths or others. Take a look.
There are 97 CCTV cameras, okay? There's going to be a huge room full of monitors, and that room full of monitors will be monitoring all the estates. We will have people sitting there looking at the cameras 24/7. If they see anything happening, they will immediately pick up the phone and call the RGP. It means that you will be under vigilance and you will be caught. There is a deterrent. You're no longer going to be able to vandalize the area or terrorize the area and get away with it because nobody knows who you are. Now we're going to know who you are. The problem is we get people vandalizing stuff in estates, which will then inadvertently cause us to spend money. And so we're trying to see what we can safeguard property, for starters. Screaming, kids just being kids really, but a bit too loud. We can get aggression at times. And if we have cameras, we will be privy to who the people are that are causing the problems.
Bueno, I've just had a very nice message from Jackie saying, welcome back, ladies. Estáis muy guapas.
Thank you,
nice,
Jackie.
Thank you, Jackie.
Great to have you back. Thank you, Jackie, for that. And I am very happy to be back. Okay, so as you've seen, there's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of CCTV. Some people think it's an intrusion of their privacy. Other people think that it won't work. What are your thoughts?
Vale, I'm of two minds with this. I think as a deterrent, good idea. But the issue for me is, see, that's a great idea, 97 cameras throughout all the estates. The problem isn't that it's not being monitored, that the police aren't around, and everyone likes to point blame at the police and the government, and the taxpayer will be footing the bill, I can imagine, for this. The problem is that it's the people. It's the people and the kids that are out. I mean, I was thinking about it when I watched the clip 20 years ago, when I was going out, sort of out with my friends after school and that. I lived in Brimpton. I'd go down to play in vineyards. My mum couldn't see me, no one was around. But if you were causing a nuisance and one of the vecinos stuck their head out and told you to cut it out, you cut it out. You moved along, and you probably got up to no good somewhere else, but you moved along. You weren't abusive. You wouldn't vandalize their doors. You wouldn't hurl insults. And then you didn't have your parents coming along to then back you up in that abuse.
Right.
So
that's a good point, actually.
I think we should maybe tackle the problem rather than put up cameras that they may just break.
Sí, lo que pasa es que the problem is too vast. It's too big. How do you start to solve a problem like anti-socialism like that? And to have the youth, y los teléfonos, y lo que están viendo, y lo que no están viendo. How can you even begin when it's basically been a free-for-all for the past 10 years?
But
I think it's 10 years, more or menos.
But there's a fine line between monitoring people and imposing on people's private lives. And I think that's...
How are you
No, creo.
imposing
Because,
on their private
but because you're
lives?
in those estates,
Yeah. It's
everything
small.
everything you do in your daily life is going to be on tape. Every single thing you do is going to be on tape. So the question is, who are the people that are monitoring those screens?
It's not tape, it's
But
live.
But live. But there are people monitoring the screens. Who are those people? How have they been vetted?
If
How are
you're
they being
walking to
trained?
your car, for example, or just walking to your block, I mean, I don't see that as an issue. A lot of these estates have issues with fly tipping, vandalism.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're completely wrong, but I think
I'd like to know,
there
though,
is a danger in
what
Big
are-
Brother watching everything.
what are
we
they
do.
going to do with that footage? So
But it must be being recorded because they say they're going to
They
be able to
must
use
do.
it for crime.
But that's not how it's going to work.
So, but how are they going to use it as evidence in court if it's not being
I'm
recorded?
a really big crime buff.
Oh, there she goes.
So I spend my life watching
watches all the crime
So
things.
CCTV comes into play and is highly useful at catching those that misbehave and criminals. But it's after the fact. It's
Yes,
always
after
after the
it's
fact.
happened, yeah.
Nobody is interested in what you're wearing today walking to work.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. That's
not an invasion of your
But the
privacy.
thing that I'm talking about is I have concerns about who are the people that are watching the cameras.
Well, they will be trained professionals.
But trained, vetted and all the rest of it. Because I think, we've had many discussions, you and I, about domestic abuse and everything. And I'm imagining somebody's estranged husband getting himself a job in there and managing to keep... Not only are they being a bother to whoever it is, but they're now able to watch them on camera. People accessing those cameras, where is the security in that nobody else can access?
But
the
they
feed,
would
all of those
only
things.
follow somebody like that if their suspicions were alerted. Therefore, it's like the cameras that they're going to use in crossing the frontier. The frontier, you're going to see thousands of people crossing one way or another. If they have a flag of someone who has a criminal record, who they know is coming in, blah, 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 they are going to then look for that facial recognition and follow that person through what he's doing in Gibraltar. It actually happens in reverse. That is when they use the footage.
Yeah.
Your day-to-day is of no interest to the
No, I
person
know it's
who's
not. I
watching.
just think there is a potential for misuse. That's my issue.
can they
Right,
use
there is a potential for misuse.
this footage? So if Leslie over here is smashing up someone's door, because she looks like she might do,
Well, you never know.
could they
never know.
then use that footage? For example, they're saying the majority is, as Minister Orfila said, youth, the majority of those issues. Can that then be used to fine parents, for example.
You got it in for the parents, huh?
No, it's their fault. No, but if a 12-year-old comes and sets fire to your front door...
Well, he's underage.
He's
for
underage,
starters,
can't
so
take
the parents would be
responsibility.
exactly.
So it's not really a deterrent if you're underage and there are no consequences to
There
that
would have to be
antisocial
consequences.
behaviour. Is that allowed to be used, I wonder, in... Maybe they can't be, but your parents will get fined. That would be a good deterrent.
I would think...
But that should be a deterrent already, shouldn't it?
The deterrent is there. I saw a little comment on the Facebook page under the GBC News article about this, and one woman says, it's not going to be a deterrent because all they're going to do is put balaclavas on and a pair of sunglasses and they won't be able to detect. That is or can be an issue.
So I would just like to jump in here and say all this that we're saying is great. I actually want to go a little step further with this and talk about policing. So, for example, they have these surveillance cameras. First of all, you know, Gibraltar's not great with maintenance. So
that is going to
vamos
be
a hacer algo
important.
así, can we please, you know, the powers that be, back up the maintenance, make sure that these cameras, because, you know, Minister Filat did mention that it'd be a room full of surveillance, you know, to have the screens and people. Vamos a ver. Porque we've had other situations where up in the police we've known that the cameras are broken and they haven't been able to see what happened. It's happened in my work.
I have been inside the police operations room where they surveil Main Street with the cameras that we have at present. This was many, many years ago. They've got a whole wall of screens. They're not 24/7 watching the screens. There might be something that alerts them, a movement or whatever, that alerts them to watch the screens. But again, I reiterate, it's after the fact. If you call the police, for example, they are going to look at the time and the place and go back to that surveillance and pull up what they
lo
need
mismo que these
for the
cameras que han
courts.
puesto all around town, these massive big white, that's great. But whatever they see is after it's happened.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody crossing the frontier...
No, that'll be live.
No, the frontier ones are...
By the way, I still don't understand how that front is going to work, how people are going to walk in. Because I spoke yesterday to at least 10 different people across the section of our community in the beach, in La Caleta, which I like to do. And I flitted around and spoke to everybody and asked the same question. How do you think the front is going to come down? Nobody knew. And they were saying, I'm a bit worried que va a ser como la gente entrando. The otro decía, no, they're going to funnel them here. The otro decía,
Susan,
no.
it's no different to you driving into Portugal.
Well, no.
Or to
exactly.
France.
It's
It's exactly the
Brilliant,
same.
lovely. I've never driven into Portugal and I've never driven into France. I'm an ignoramus that needs to be told, because I'm a Gibraltarian, what the hell is going on, me parece a mí.
Right.
Que
Let me tell you a little bit about what I found out. Okay, how the facial recognition, the cameras for the facial recognition is that the cameras at the frontier will be different to the cameras in an estate or down Main Street.
And the ones we have Main Street.
So if they are flagged for any reason, say a paedophile is coming through or a known criminal from somewhere is driving through, they then will be switching to the cameras all over Gibraltar, face recognising that person and tracing his you know, where he's going and what he's doing. So the live facial recognition system does not log or store the personal identity data of every passing pedestrian. Instead, it functions as an automated filtering tool for law enforcement. It filters real-time scanning. The software scans faces in live video streams as individuals move through public areas. They're only interested in the ones that are being flagged. Watchlist cross-referencing. The live data is mathematically matched exclusively against pre-existing watch lists of wanted suspects. They know who could well be crossing the border. Wow. Illegal immigrants, Interpol targets, or individuals with outstanding warrants. Because every border is talking to every border.
Claro, ya que somos parte de todos los borders, claro, ya.
I want to try and say an instant alerts. If that software detects a match, it flags the file to alert live monitors. If no match is found, the data is not retained.
Very good. So then just
Does that
coming back to,
Go back to the thing. What happens if they come in wearing balaclavas and sunglasses then?
Yes, there is all of that, but we also have their...
Stand out a bit in the middle of summer, wouldn't you?
We also have registration. But we
It's a bit
also
odd.
have car registration being detective as well.
Yes, of course,
I
yeah.
understand the concerns of a small community that has lived behind a fence.
Claro, es normal.
I understand that. But we have to have some faith too. At the end of the day, the rest of Europe
No veo lo bien que
works
está
in
Europa.
exactly
Europa
the
está...
same way.
But there is no
way,
evidence.
Europa.
There is no evidence across Europe when you open borders that crime increases
There is
on
no
either side of
evidence.
the open borders.
In
There
fact,
is no
it's
evidence.
probably the other
opposite,
way
yeah.
round.
Bueno, I hope
Yeah.
you're right. Pero también I hope we have more police officers. I was looking about
That
the
has
amount.
to be done too.
So that's something that I looked up. It's not bad. It's getting better. They recruited quite an amount last year. There was a recruitment. So it's getting better, pero todavía we fall short of having... I did, when I was going to Leslie's Do on Saturday night, I saw a police car, and I made actually a post on Facebook about it, because it was parked just outside. Ahí puesto, y los dos guapos, policía guapísimos, los dos sentados. And I had to go and say thank you. I said, you know, it's really nice to see you here. I love it. He said, madam, you know, we're here for you, for the... And he made me feel really good.
Yeah.
And I said, I hope this is what we're going to be seeing. So hopefully, as you say, it might actually work to our advantage. Ya que
Yes,
hemos tenido policía
absolutely.
for the past 10 years. Now maybe we'll actually be seeing policía
Well,
in the
with
street.
antisocial
That's
behaviour
it.
as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also a comforting
Yes,
tool
of
for the
course.
police
Of
and for
course.
the public.
Of course.
Because when there is an issue, say there's a fight in Ocean Village, the police will have that CCTV, I can never say the whole word, to cover their backs, as does the supposed victim.
I love CCTV. A mí me encanta. I don't mind at all. I have nothing to hide. I walk around, I say hello to everybody.
Yeah.
Yo voy por la calle, está la cámara, digo, hey, a mí no me importa. I've got nothing to hide. My life is very
doesn't
boring.
bother me in the
normal,
least either.
Casi normal. I'm a
However,
normal person.
one of the things
so
that
I
can
like
happen
it.
is that it displaces the crime. The crime will go someplace where the cameras are and can't see them. That's one of the things that's
Bueno,
been
pero
proven to
eso
happen.
ya, hija, ya.
So.
I
I
don't know.
suppose you can't control
But
it all.
that's
No,
it.
but it's still giving us more visibility than
yes.
we have now.
That's it.
We have Dwayne, who's welcome back, guys. Sois unos cracks. Sorry, pero mi cookie es la mejor. I'm guessing
Who's
this
Dwayne?
is your husband.
Me with my vertical line top.
On the cameras, you gotta love Dwayne. He's gorgeous. On
Love
the
you,
cameras,
Dwayne.
all well and good and all for it. However, criminal activity may simply move to unmonitored blind spots around the
That's what you
estate
just said.
rather than stopping entirely. Also, cameras require maintenance. Will this be adhered to, or will they have the
Maintenance.
same maintenance as speed cameras?
Maintenance.
I can answer that, or at least part of it. They are actually on a vandal-resistant infrastructure. Okay. The cameras are supported by special security-grade LED lighting mounted on anti-crime, anti-vandalism posts. So to a
technical we are.
degree, there should be, yes. I'm
Como los
surprised I can get
teléfonos
it
en la
out.
escuela, que era anti-open, y ahí lo están abriendo, están haciendo tampoco.
And he mentions the government needs to show the people of Gibraltar this CCTV centre. This is from Derek. A centre. I'm guessing he means like
room
Maybe
with
he
the-
means like the hub
the
where
hub
the
where
cameras
everything's
are.
gonna be.
the
But I think
central.
this is back to what you were saying. Nobody knows what's happening.
Nobody knows what's happening.
And
It's
that-
okay,
that
it's okay.
creates
When
a-
you don't
Well,
know.
it's a little bit like the time we had this conversation about the recycling. People would recycle more if we
knew.
had a little clip, be it through socials or local television or what have you, showing
100%.
exactly what happens
happens.
to our water
Claro.
bottle when we put it in
You
the
want to
recycle
know, eso
bin.
normal.
And that would instill a lot more faith.
And now
too.
in this generation where we know everything, tenemos AI at our fingertips, we know what's going on, we know exactly what the color of the hair, todo, or at least tell us what's going on with our lives, because there's a massive change coming in July, just a bit
Yes.
more, you know. And I know there's been information about what's happening with the tax. Yo he visto todos estos clips que sale en Facebook. We're having, they're doing these, which are very informative, but they're not personal. We need somebody to come out and say, Susan, no te preocupes, mi alma. Ya está. Pero es que, it sounds funny, but, you know, I'm
but
60 years
sí,
old.
okay, I know
I'm
what you
worried. Digo, uf, mi nieto ahora por la calle, will he be able to walk? Won't he be able to walk? He's 10 years old. Toda esa cosa. All these people in the beach yesterday said the same thing. What's going to be with our kids? Can we let them now go on their own? They go out when they're 12. Now what's going to happen? Who's going to stop a car coming in and going out with a kid? what's going to be. Just
There's an Amber Alert
that's
for that.
you know, but this is the sort of conversations that Gibraltarians are having, which
Because
is
they don't-
normal.
because
It's
they don't
normal,
know.
no?
And it's normal because we've lived in a very safe and
And it's
enclosed
normal
area.
because we spent most of our lives, especially mine as a 60-year-old, fighting to have a nice, strong frontier to make sure we have a delineation between our Britishness and their Spanishness. And now there it isn't. Claro que todo el mundo va a estar, espérate, ¿qué pasó? De pronto ahora ya no hay frontera. It's a bit odd. So
odd. It's
I
odd for
agree
you.
with you, everything's great, but a little bit more of like, listen, just because we're worried.
Want
And I
more
think that is
reassurance.
normal.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask the audience, because it obviously is going to affect your lives too. Are you concerned at all about CCTV, how it's going to work and how it's going to affect your life? I'm going to go to Paul, obviously.
Hello, hello.
You can send it up that way if somebody else wants to say something. What do you think, Paul?
About CCTV?
Yeah.
Honestly, we don't even know who's watching it and where are they looking? Are they looking into houses?
Are they looking into houses?
Where are they pointing these cameras? Because the ones on Main Street look down to the ground floor, but those who live in those estates, let's say,
Right.
their houses, if they open their curtains, you're looking in.
I can help with an example of a real case in Gibraltar. You know how we all have doorbells? Camera doorbells? This person was watching his camera doorbell in one of the estates. Al vecino que estaba enfrente, a qué hora iba, when he came back, si entraba la mujer. And he was it actually went to court, I think, and he was ordered to remove it. So the privacy aspect is very important and taken into consideration.
But how much will the government apply that to themselves? That's the question. Because the government's in control of it. So they may be looking, I don't know, there might be some bad actors, because there is in every organization, and they might be using that to look onto other people, spy, kind of look at who
There has been that recorded, actually.
Sorry,
I've
por
got it
decir.
here.
No, but okay, but no.
No,
Let me have a look.
Like, it's the unfortunate thing.
The people who are the ones monitoring have got control.
They've got
And
the
they-
control. They've got this power that we don't even know how
Yeah.
far it reaches, how much quality, because they're saying it's very good quality cameras. But at the same time, what else could they do with those cameras?
I mean, we've had incidents, I've received them on my phone from CCTV footage in Gibraltar, incidents that have happened, and I've received the footage on my phone and it's circulated WhatsApp,
verdad.
and the police have had to say on Facebook, please don't circulate because it's CCTV footage and that's whoever's there. I'm sure they got sacked after,
Yeah.
but
I think they
they circulated it.
There is
somebody
definitely a
recording with a
human
mobile
thing,
phone, wasn't
a
it?
human element.
Yeah.
I just want to pick you up on that because it's not something you've plucked out of the sky. It does happen, albeit rarely or whatever, but there have been documented cases of system operators using public cameras to stalk individuals, spy on romantic partners, or voyeuristically target citizens. So, I mean, you do have that human element, but I'm somebody who would like to have some faith. So I am hoping that that human element is the vast minority and that people are decent and they're trained properly and have a conscience. But yes, it's a point.
I'm a little bit with Megan where we need to go to the problem rather than add all
Yes.
these things and spend hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Although I was
on
a little
infrastructure we
concerned
don't
about
need
the minister's
if we
comment
don't
about
need it.
children being children. Are we really going to start monitoring children who are being a little bit too noisy? There was a comment there that she'd made about it, and I think children are allowed to play. It's one of the things about Gibraltar that our children can go out to play.
She rectified it. I think she caught on to what
she
she'd
said,
said
but she
because
still
then
said
she
it.
backtracked slightly and said, too sort of like it was too loud and then aggression, and she threw the aggression. I think she was mainly aiming. I'd like to think she was mainly aiming at
Because-
the more problematic situations rather
I get
than
that, but
kids just playing in the
there
park.
are also people who will complain that children
It's
are
true.
just being children,
Yeah,
making
yeah,
a noise. They're allowed to play outside. We
Yeah,
live
but
in
I
a
think
beautiful
I
climate.
mean, we have to be reasonable in our homes
Common
as well.
sense,
That's
yeah.
why
Yeah.
playgrounds are within the estates.
Common
But at the end of the
sense.
day,
Bravo.
if 12-year-old boys are screaming and playing music at 1 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah, of course.
or even at 11
Absolutely,
o'clock at
yeah.
night, 2 feet away from your
Yeah.
front door, that's not acceptable.
No.
Is anybody else concerned about CCTV, or are you welcome, or will you welcome it?
It's just that element of that feeling of Big Brother watching you. If you're walking around and you sometimes feel like somebody's watching you and then actually they are. I've lived in the UK for 10 years and that is the sort of feeling that you have. And you come to Gibraltar to get respite from that. And now it's going to be, there's cameras everywhere. The same thing about children as well. You have to get parents to sign paperwork to have photos taken of your kids at school. but you're just going to allow cameras, which they are recording, as you have to use the CCTV footage later on. You're going to have cameras openly recording children everywhere with no confirmation that people are okay with that. I don't know, it's just not something that I particularly think is necessary to stop crime from happening.
You don't think it's a good deterrent for crime?
I think it can be, but I think there are much better ways that we can do it.
Oh,
Without
definitely.
privacy just going completely out of the window. I don't think cameras everywhere is the answer to...
It's a very
making
fine
things.
line. It's a very fine line between...
Where do you start?
Between
Where do you start?
protection
Where do you start?
and
Well, if it was up to Megan, she'd start with the parents.
yes.
See, but
Always.
how do you start with that?
yes.
See, but
no,
how
that
do you
too.
start
I
with
know.
that? Can you imagine?
Education.
Education. No,
No, it
the
doesn't work, I know.
community And giving police their authority back and
Eso sí.
teachers their
Eso
authority
sí.
back.
Eso sí, 100%.
That is what we need to be doing. It's very easy.
Well, Megan,
The government pays for it. I can see.
100%.
It's very easy to throw the blame and say,
Claro.
well, the government will fix it and put
No,
some
no, I agree
cameras.
with you.
But it's not going to stop
But
them.
they don't do that. They don't give the police the authority. They don't give the...
But that is where we are failing as a community and as a society. We're failing the teachers, the police, the people in authority, doctors, anyone who's
they're
going to
not
get
being taken
abused.
seriously
No,
anymore.
we're actually failing the society.
Sí, sí, as a whole.
Porque ya, you know, we were having this conversation. Even I was saying that I'm not even sure, you know, how much can I even say? I'm saying, espérate, Susan, que tú también te estás mirando lo que va a decir. It does become a bit like that. In a day and age where
Very
there's
censored.
so much, you can say what you like. It's not true.
You can't say
Porque
what
en
you
un
like
momento te hacen traca y ya está.
No, you're absolutely right.
can't
I need
see.
I need to run through these WhatsApps because they're coming in fast and strong. With regards to the open border being safer than it currently is, would any of you remove the front door of your house and replace it with CCTV? Robert?
No, I wouldn't.
No, that is true. But I do remember at Gibraltar when I used to have a key stuck in my front door and it was safe as anything. That doesn't mean to say that they weren't criminals back then or people who wouldn't
No, but
take
there were
advantage
less.
of
It was
burglars.
less.
Listen, up until my house was refurbished, I regularly left the front door.
Claro, y yo.
Yeah, never locked the door.
Claro.
The cameras are a deterrent. Even if a few stop working, people will not know if they are working or not. True, a little bit like the speed cameras. But if you pass by, you try to be on your best behaviour. That's from Brian. No way anyone is going to sit in front of 99 CCTV monitors. I've done it for a couple of hours. Y eso vuelve a cualquiera majareta. It's what I'm saying. I've been in that control room. The police isn't sat there going like this all the time. They're getting on with their job. They will be used in response to an incident. Al menos that facial recognition gives them a heads up. Also, I'm not too worried about iffy people coming over the frontier without document checks. They always could come in even with document checks. That is also true, and it has happened. I worked at the frontier for 23 years, and you know how many times we set up exit controls in response to an incident? None. Thank you, Rich, for that. Protecting public assets. Because the government owns the buildings, lifts and communal parks on those estates, they are going to use CCTV to protect government state property from being damaged, which saves taxpayer money on expensive repairs in the long run. That is another plus. It is unfair that public funds are being funneled into specific government estates, while we on private estates pay out of pocket for security. True too. Thank you, Danny, for that. I don't know how useful it is. I had a bike stolen from Regal House and was found in Rosia. And the police said there was no CCTV in Jib to follow the lost bike.
Claro, porque tanto
So it
roto.
was useless.
They're all
Amy.
broken.
Well, this should solve little problems. It's a big problem to Amy, obviously, but it should solve problems like that. Should. Will all having these cameras means that we will have less policing? Derek.
Well, I hope not.
It's an interesting
no, I
point.
don't want
It's an
less.
interesting
I don't
point.
want less.
I don't
No.
think so because recently, like Susan said, they've been sort of pushing and campaigning to have more police presence. I don't think they're going to put all their resources into sort of trying to get all of this up, get the public confident and comfortable with the police being out and about again to then retract it all.
Well,
Yeah.
naturally,
I don't think so.
it should mean there has to be more police.
Of
Because
course.
they're going to be aware more of what's happening and will have to respond to that.
Yeah.
There's no point in having it if you're not going to respond. and you don't have enough
Psychologically,
police
there's something
officers
very
to respond.
comforting about seeing boots on the ground.
Yes.
There is, yeah.
Being able to
Gibraltarian
interact
boots on the
with,
ground,
yeah,
claro.
with the bobby, being able to ask him, a tourist ask him for directions, or
Claro.
if they've had their purse stolen by an ape up the rock, or anything like that. So more of a police presence would be
Yes,
always
yes,
welcomed, and
always.
it's something that everybody in Gibraltar always wants.
Agrees with.
There has been a recruitment lately, so hopefully they will carry on recruiting. But as with everything in Gib, anywhere in the world, it's also about budgets, isn't it?
Always.
So anyway,
Depende para lo que.
that was very interesting because there are a lot of pros and cons, and it seems that some people still have concerns. Mine are abated. I'm good with it. Susan, I know you still have
I'm
concerns.
gonna wait and see.
especially-
Wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, we have to see how it all pans out. Right, let's go with our next subject. And it's a difficult one. One of those subjects that we would call a life dilemma. Something that's happened recently is the serious looking into chemical castration as a punishment or a deterrent for convicted paedophiles. What would you think? Let's take a look at what happened downtown.
Crimes involving children is a terrible thing. You know, it shouldn't be allowed. And, you know, but when you talk about castration and that is, I don't know what to say really, you know. I honestly wouldn't like to, you know, to make judgment on that.
I agree with that 100%. The chemical castration. Yeah. Imagine the children and the parents will suffer. So
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I know it's frustrating, and I know they should be punished. But castration, I don't know. I don't think. I don't know. I wouldn't approve of it, honestly.
So it's not castration physically; it's chemical castration.
In that case, yes, I would agree with him. Yeah, because they're recurring all the time. All the time. They don't do it once; they do it many times.
Sure that it's permissible under Human Rights Convention. So what the minister has actually said, I think, might be way more difficult to actually implement because it has got consequences and could technically be a crime against humanity if we were to go ahead and start engaging chemical castration.
Okay, so for me, it is very clearly a perfect example of a word that makes you feel very, very uncomfortable. And it's that play on words that you can see a lot of those people were focusing on when it's actually not a castration. And that's why, and I wondered why they keep calling it chemical castration. It's funny, people don't listen to the chemical.
Yes, they don't, yeah.
But they hear the castration, and the law, interestingly, has kept those words because it's what people conjure up in their mind and it becomes a deterrent. But we have to understand chemical castration is fully reversible and is no different to women going through the menopause. It is treating a hormonal balance that reduces libido and therefore the urge to commit the crime in this particular case. So once they finish taking the hormone, it actually comes back. So it sounds horrific, but this is what we go through in life. And some of it, although people might argue, yeah, but that's natural. Well, it's not always natural. Some women are induced with a hysterectomy and so on and so forth. But Paul, interestingly, this has been used also. You are aware of this. What's your experience with chemical castration?
I have not been castrated.
Let's take that out of the equation. Everybody thinks it's
Just to clarify to all of Jib and anyone watching, not me.
There's no cutting of testicles in chemical
There
castration.
isn't, but you did say a fact that wasn't correct. So chemical castration is not always reversible. There is a large percentage that cannot be reversed, and it leads to similar things with the menopause. So osteoporosis can happen, brittle bones.
That's true.
There's loads of things like that, and it's harder to treat. For some reason, it's harder to treat with men. I don't know why, because they've been dealing with women their entire, well, actually medicine hasn't been dealt with very well for women either, so let's be honest. But they don't know how it would affect a man in a large scale. And plus, I'm just going to put it out there, with governments around the world seeing birth rates going down, and now we're going to start castrating people as well. Brilliant.
No, but I am looking at this in the context of Gibraltar considering it for convicted paedophiles.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at other countries
Would you
around the
agree
world,
with it in that context?
I wouldn't agree with that. I think that it's a human rights issue there, especially with the consequences. You wouldn't induce a woman into menopause just willy-nilly sort of thing.
But it's not willy-nilly.
No, obviously.
Esta gente are convicted pedophiles, and you have to
But the
protect
problem-
if a person, and we know that it's repeat offenders.
It
It's not
can
something that is cured unless the person goes through, yo qué sé.
I think there's a real danger that you depend on chemical castration to be the solution to the problem.
Yeah.
When actually, like most sex crimes, a lot of it is not to do with the sex drive. It is to do with power. It's to do with abuse of power. So if you're making an assumption that by chemically castrating a man, he is not going to commit any further abuse on children, I think you're making a very wrong assumption. I think the other part of it is there's actually very few studies that can back up the success of that. The success that they will talk about is often people who have volunteered. So they're people who have actually not committed any abuse against children, but they're aware that they have that issue and they volunteer to be chemically castrated.
Yes,
and
that is true. I've seen that before.
And because they want to be, you're naturally going to get a better outcome than you would if you're forcing somebody. You can go to prison or you can be chemically castrated, and they're going to take that. How do you monitor that they carry on taking the medication?
That is true too.
There's the additional as well, that we're talking just solely on the male side.
Yeah.
Women also can be paedophiles.
Exactly.
And
That
it's
is
something
true.
that doesn't get spoken about enough in jail.
That is
There
true.
are a lot of cases, they get brushed under, and they don't get as harsh
Pero es
punishments.
menos, Paul, es menos.
Pero todavía hay. Pero todavía hay.
Pero
The
no
law
es-
has to be
But it still
equal.
happens.
But
let's
no,
be clear.
I read
So
that
that
it
would
works
have to
as well
be
for women.
a hysterectomy, and the same thing would happen. It's an enforced.
Which is another danger as well.
But at the same time, it doesn't. Women don't stop wanting to have sex because they've had a hysterectomy.
We want to have sex because we're older anyway.
Because we,
Yeah.
But
See, but
that's,
it's the lack of hormone that's lowering the libido. That's,
I know,
there's
but-
no desire to have
right.
sex.
No,
that's
but
the important bit.
but it's not always about sex.
sex, which is what
It's-
Leslie
it's a-
say.
it's-
It's,
See,
But it's
it's the
connected
power.
to the libido. If there's no libido,
but it
mucho
doesn't matter.
power.
not
But
necessarily.
they get something out of actually abusing another human being, and that's the
Yeah.
problem. I think there's a real danger that everybody goes, okay, we'll do that. We'll chemically castrate them all, and we don't have a problem with paedophiles anymore.
No,
and that's not the case.
No.
And I think as well, who's monitoring them taking this medication? Are they having to turn up someplace every week to have it done, or what?
Could it be a deterrent?
But
También es como las cámaras,
possibly,
un
but
deterrent.
but
Mira,
I'm not
no,
sure.
todo el
I'm
mundo
not
would
sure.
say no.
How would you monitor
I'm not sure.
it?
I'm not sure.
I
And I
suppose.
think the problem is that it could lull people into a false sense of security. That's my concern about it.
It is
Without-
it is a dilemma.
Yeah, without a doubt, if there is a way of stopping people abusing children, absolutely, let's do it. But I'm not sure this is it.
Castration.
I'm not sure.
I'm
this
going to
is it.
read out these and we're going to go to a quick break because I want to spend some time with these lovely people. With regarding castration, I believe the minister does not know what he's talking about. And that's from Derek. Those who sexually abuse children have caused profound and lasting harm to their victims and families in committing these crimes. They showed a disregard for the well-being, safety and future of the children they abused. Given the seriousness of the harm caused, society is justified in prioritising the protection of children of further offences through measures such as chemical castration. That comes from Unknown. I tend to agree. And then Clive says, will we chop hands off thieves? It's
We're
what
not chopping anybody's things
that's-
off anyway.
that's-
it's
not
what this issue is. It is a moral dilemma, and dilemmas are like this all the time.
And possibly a
6,
slippery
7.
slope. A slippery slope into where
slippery slope.
where do we draw the line that
With soap
invading
too.
people's bodily autonomy?
Yeah.
That's-
Right. It's one of those that we could really delve in deeper and have a lot more to say, but unfortunately, time is always a concern, and I do want to spend some time with the lovely people from Pride. So let's go to a very quick break.
The Powder Room.
welcome back. Well, as I opened the show, I mentioned that it's the 1st of June and we have got the sun out and it's felt like a really proper day of summer. And what a lovely way to start for the whole month in raising awareness for Pride. I've got some of the major participants, I would say, because there's some familiar faces in the crowd. So we want to talk about everything and anything to do with your month. You have a whole run-up of events. A lot of them are a lot of fun. And then you've got the day itself. And it is growing year on year. And that's really important. So, Reagan, if you want to tell me, because otherwise Paul will shoot me if I say his name again. Tell us a little bit, like, summarise what the whole month is going to be about and what you're up to.
Our main goal this year for Pride is to get the community together. So we're trying to get involved as much as possible with other charities, other organisations, and get as many people involved with our events as well. So we're doing a whole month of awareness. So we're going to be posting on socials constantly. We're going to have things going out, getting involved with other companies, other events, and obviously the big day, which is the 27th of June, which would be our 5th anniversary. So we're planning on going big. And yeah, it's a longer show this year. We have until midnight this year. So yeah, we've been given the go-ahead.
So the neighbours are being kind this year.
Yes, yes.
You've got an hour more than usual.
Yeah. We tried a bit more. I always try a bit more, but we got until 12, so it's a win for us. And yeah, it's just a full month of raising awareness, getting the community together, and making sure that people are aware of what's going on.
I can't believe it's been 5 years already, and it's always been said about how great it would be to have a Pride parade in Gibraltar, and it finally got off the ground. This is the 5th year.
This is the 5th year,
The 5th year. Yep. Now, how is it getting bigger? Because in certain places, I know that there's members of the gay community that have travelled abroad to take part in Pride because it's so big and so fabulous that they've made like a holiday out of it and they've gone and joined Pride in another country. How are we making it bigger and better?
Well, actually, we've been seeing from the past couple of years that a lot more people get in contact with us. We get people asking us, for example, recommendations for hotels to stay over that day or information on flights or how can they get to Gibraltar. So we get a lot of people messaging us wanting to come. Obviously, we have the frontier, another issue, but we get a lot of people coming through the frontier as well from Spain. Us as a committee as well, we also try and attend prides in the Campo Libertad, so we go to Algeciras Pride or Torremolinos to also support them, and that's how we get people to come, get connections and meet new people, and that's how it's done, really.
How is that cross-border relationship? Because there's cross-border relationships with sports, which can be a little bit iffy. How is it for you guys with the other members in the area?
It's actually really, really good. We have a relationship with almost all the Campo de Libertad organizations. Not so long ago, some of our members did a walk, like a little hike, for another organization, which was, I think it was Algeciras Pride. And we try to get involved with everyone as much as we can. Obviously, we all have full-time jobs and we all have a life, but we all try. We try
you
to
do?
at least...
You have a life?
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, yes. But we all try at least be there at some point to show support. I think showing support is the best way to get relationships going on and for people to attend yours. No, I do you, you do me kind of thing.
Yeah.
And tit for tat, really.
So is the committee any bigger or are you still handling it kind of single-handedly?
No, the committee's getting bigger. We actually have one of our newcomers are here with us. We have Robert, Charlotta and Sarai, who just joined the committee.
Okay.
I've been on the committee for 5 years as Christina as well. So yeah, we are getting bigger, we are getting better. We obviously need the help because it's a lot. It's a lot.
Right.
It may not seem like a lot. It may just seem like we just do one day in casemates and we have a party, but that's not it.
Did I see you advertising for volunteers recently? I think
that's right. Yeah, we also are advertising for volunteers
for the day.
Yeah,
for
we
the
also have volunteers who've been volunteering for
Okay.
Pride for the past 5 years as well. So we do get people constantly contacting us to see what can we do to help. How can we get involved? And that's what we want.
Who in the audience from the organisers is not Gibraltarian? Let's pass the mic back because I want to. Where are you from?
I'm from Cyprus.
You came last year.
Yes.
I remember you. Because I want to compare a little bit about what life is like, say, in Cyprus compared to Gibraltar and how you see it. Are we better than we were? Have things evolved? Is awareness more broadly accepted? What's happening in your community?
Well, I haven't taken part in the community in Cyprus because as soon as I was 20, I left.
All
I'm
right.
31 now, so haven't been in Cyprus in like 11 years. So I don't really know what's happening in Cyprus in terms of that. I know that the committee there is fighting for the rights. They get the doctors monthly checkups for the community. They have a committee specifically for Pride and several other communities for other issues. It's not like we do, which is everything together. So they have a lot more people there.
Right.
But yeah, I think here we're just more like a closer community than there.
It's interesting because Cyprus is comparable because it's much bigger than Gibraltar, I know, but it's similar in that it's a small and close community, I would think. What's your involvement in Pride this year? What are you up to?
Well, I'm the social media person, so everything that you get to see, it's me. And yeah, on the day I'm just volunteering, helping with the acts, making sure that like we're taking photos, videos, so we can have stuff for the social media and advertising.
How have you looked for the acts this year? Because I've seen some social media posts and they all look very excited to come.
That's me with a lot of months of emails and messages and back and forward.
Fishing.
Yeah. The good thing is like I was saying before, as it's our 5th year, now we actually get acts messaging us. Can we participate? And I do have to say no to some people because we get people messaging us from the year before. So like I already have acts, and it's really, really hard because at the beginning it was hard because we didn't have any contacts and it was hard to find that right act. But now we get acts messaging us, so it's a lot easier. We have a lot of people who want to get involved and a lot of people who want to perform. So, and the young, the young people want to get involved and they want to perform and they want to bring out their talents, and that's always awesome. We try to find a lot of local talent as well. It's a bit hard sometimes, which is why we get people from outside, but as much local talent as we can get, the better.
So how is let's look at the dark side, because I remember when you came here last time, that even though we know we've come a long way, that there are still issues. Paul, answer this for me because you answered it the last time. I am the negative. No, it's just that I know that you are still getting a lot of harassment online. Is that happening
We've
this
got it today.
Today we've put out a Happy Pride post and the first comment was negative.
Yep.
What was it?
Something about you guys should shut up and just blend in.
Who was it from?
A guy in Colchester, Gloucester.
Guy in the UK?
We get a lot of hate from international groups. That is our main target at the moment.
Qué curioso.
They know how liberal we are. We are more advanced than the UK in terms of our protections and laws.
Interesting.
And we actually use our laws here in Gib. So there's a big difference. But we get a lot of hate. And obviously, we have to constantly be battling that. So I've had a lot of fun on social media. And we've had to muzzle some people so that they don't cause more drama from it. That's Petros. We don't let him post. But most of the committee, actually, we know how to kind of just prepare and post very carefully worded things. We try not to antagonize. We try to educate more than anything, but we instantly get a lot of negativity. I mean, we've had a really cool article from Minister Christian Santos, who posted it online, but it's also in the Chronicle, talking about the importance of pride, community, and the online hate. But those things are quite tough. It's always going to be there to an extent because keyboard warriors, we love them.
Exactly.
We are so good at like nurturing that talent.
Pero
Super tough.
I know that you're going to hold your head up high and you're going to give very educated replies. Pero la verdad, Paul, you must send that message y te afecta todavía. It makes you feel
I think that
down
I'm
or
quite different.
hurt or upset.
For me, I think it lights a fire.
Yeah.
For me, it lights a fire to just make Pride bigger, make it even more bolder, get it out there even more, and just make it bigger. Yeah, rub it in their face even more.
Well, I think aren't those people making those comments just proving the point that why Pride's needed?
Exactly.
Aren't they? They're just proving the point.
Like, I think sort of when it comes to these comments, it changes as you get older. Like, I remember being a closeted person and seeing things that certain people would post. And I really, really hated it. It made me feel like I wasn't loved in my community. It made me feel that I wasn't safe in my community. And it made me question the love of the people that have loved me all my life. But I think once you've come out, once you've lived for a while, and once you have embraced yourself, it becomes a little bit easier. And you realize it because you realize that those comments don't affect you so much. But that is why Pride is so important.
Yeah.
Because it gives people that opportunity to come out for the first time.
And the misconception is that even though the community has come a long way in opening the minds and fighting for the rights and changing the laws, it's not about you sitting on your laurels and thinking, well, no, we can have a same-sex marriage and we can adopt children. It's about all those men and women who are still to this day stoned to death, beaten to a pulp, bullied, and otherwise, is it not? So you've got to carry this on, because I don't think a lot of people get that's what you're doing or part of what you're doing.
That's right. We have to be very thankful for the past and everyone who's gotten us up to here, but we also have to be very mindful and protect our future, because we won't be here in 50, 60 years, 70 years time. So we need those youths and those young people to step up when we're not there. So it's very, very important to protect
I think
our
the
future.
world is showing us now that you can't take it for granted. The things that are happening in the United States with the right-wing leaning thing, there are rights being removed from people.
80 countries still criminalized to the point of death. And that's 80 around the world. That's something that every LGBTQ plus person around the world has to think about before they travel.
Yeah.
That's something that doesn't go unnoticed. And because of Trump and the rest, we see it. It's rolling back. We've had a year in 2025 in which a hell of a lot went out the window and a hell of a lot did come back in, but not to the same standard.
Yeah.
And on that as well, I think we've got a lot to be thankful for, like the community, the committee itself, because in an era where we're seeing a lot of queer spaces be shut down, a lot of queer spaces go out of business, a lot of prides are actually shrinking around the UK. I think Manchester Pride last year ran into a lot of trouble with just organisation, and there was an actual possibility that it wouldn't go through. Our Pride is actually growing, it's doubling, you know, it's the 5th anniversary and we're bigger and better than ever. So I think there's a lot to be thankful for, especially
Let's do a little round of applause there. That's brilliant. My lovely couple at the back, the stars of the show. You two. They're in this fly. What do they call off the wall? Anyway, a reality TV program. Did you go to Korea?
We haven't yet, but if you would love to fund that for me, we would absolutely.
Please, someone, GBC, arrange a camera to follow these guys in Korea. It's going to be amazing. Tell us what you've got up your sleeve, because you guys tend to front it and you look absolutely fabulous.
Thank you.
How many hours does it take to get ready?
It takes a little while. We wake up early in the morning. The parade is usually around 1, so we'll be there with bells and whistles on as usual.
Yeah, so for me, it's whatever hours I take, it takes Coco 2 more.
But he's got a beard.
Listen.
This is why it should take him less.
Oh, that's true.
The mysteries. But no, we'll be looking forward to hosting the show as usual. It's our 5th anniversary this year. We've got some great surprises lined up for you guys. Obviously, the looks will be fabulous.
Oh.
And the performances there's a lot lined up for you guys. There really is.
Yeah, no, and I'm just really happy at the end of the day to bring a bit of visibility for people who don't fit in, gender nonconformity, trans people, the dolls. And be able to show people that at the end of the day, you know, these are our streets too, and we're allowed to walk these streets and be visible and be proud and not have to hide aspects of who we are because people don't agree with it. And this is a family, and we have a family now.
Yes.
And, you know, I remember years ago in Gibraltar, we didn't have all this, even that long ago, and now there's a big community of us. So I feel like, you know, nothing's going to stop us now.
Like the song. Well done. I've got a little note here for you. Let me see. Wishing everyone a happy Pride Month. May our supposedly tolerant society progress to a point we no longer need one. How true is that? Remember that despite the hate ramping up during this month in particular, the emptiest vessels make the loudest noise. You are seen and you are loved. And that's from Binky. I'm
Love you, Binky.
And a big fat kiss to all of you. So we're going to kind of like wrap things up. So what is your wish for the future? What's important to you? What drives you? Do you all have a personal issue, something that's happened to you? What drives you, Paul?
Anger.
That's fair.
You know what? It lights a fire under my ass. It's great. And I'm sorry if that's not supposed to be said on GBC.
That's fine. I
Apologise to all the parents and all my students. The reality. No, what we need to see more of is people just living the proper life that we're saying. It's not about tolerating. It's about just accepting and moving on. It's just getting on with your life.
Yeah.
And if you see an LGBTQ plus person holding hands down Main Street, don't make a thing about it. Don't look at them. Just think about them as a normal couple that's just causing a fuss. Move on. Things like that. Just normalize every aspect and let us normalize it as well. Because the longer that it takes for them to normalize it, it takes us just as much. And it's the easiest way to think about it is, if it took us so long to come out, we have to give them time to accept as well. But it's time. Where in 2026, it's a little bit old school, and we need to stop trying to pit people against each other in like society.
I agree.
We're too big, and we should just be accepting each other.
More
I
love.
also just want to say a big thank you to our partner sponsors this year. We have our very first partnership with Admiral Insurance. They've been supporting us through a couple of years, and this year they've decided to become our partner sponsorship, they will be supporting us throughout the whole year, not just for Pride. So a huge thank you to them, because without them we would not have been able to do half the things.
Your funding's very important.
That's right. It's very important, and without them we would not have been able to do half the things that we're going to do.
Excellent. And you wanted to say?
If the people want to volunteer, we are always open for more help.
Who do they contact?
Contact the committee and they'll be put through to me.
Online, socials?
Yeah.
That's right.
They can get in touch.
Facebook, Instagram.
What's your name, Danny?
My name is Christina and I'm head of security for the committee.
Oh, that's an important role. Are you concerned about security?
No.
No?
Because she's really good at her job.
CCTV.
There's a woman who
We
knows
have
she's
done
good
it
at her job.
for 5 years.
Yeah.
I also work for OSG and I'm airport security.
That's where I've seen your face. Okay.
I'm the one shouting, do not leave your bag.
Right. You've got a pro on the team. This woman's going to have eyes everywhere.
Oh, yes.
Good. Good. How long have you been involved in the committee?
Since day one.
Since day one as well. Right.
There's only 3 of us left since day one, me, Christine, and Emmy, who's not here, but we've had people who've been on the committee for 4 years, right? 4 years. So, yeah.
Also, my daughter was the one who went in my place for the very first meeting because I was at work.
Do any of you want to say anything finally on your way to this month of Pride?
Oh, I wanted to say, just as someone that has been planning to move here in a couple of weeks, I had no idea that there was actually this kind of community here. It was something that kind of scared me a little bit, because I grew up in somewhere quite similar to this that didn't have that community and didn't have that safety and didn't have the progression. So it really warms my heart to sit among you guys and hear that you're doing the thing.
That's lovely. Anybody else? Some final thoughts? Yes? No? Yes?
I just want to say something really quick. I think one thing is that compassion goes a long way, and that caring for other people, because ultimately that's what we're doing at the end of the day, and that's what we should be doing as a society, is caring for each other, and that words have impacts. Like, you could say something really horrible over a screen, and at the end of the day, you're going to affect someone. So we just have respect for each other and also compassion. I think, honestly, that is all we need, really.
I agree.
It's not difficult, is it?
No, it's not difficult. It's about not picking up your phone and making a judgment with no thought about how it's going to affect somebody that reads it at the end of the day. And that effect is, the repercussions can be enormous. And I don't even want to go down the route of how it can affect somebody, because the rock bottom is terrifying and somebody could take their own life. It is that drastic as to how it can affect somebody. And I just don't understand. I'm incapable of understanding how cruel people can be and not have the guts to say it to your face. And I think it's deplorable that anybody does that. Anyway, I'm going to wish you the very, very best moving forward this month. I know you're going to have an amazing time. I know there's going to be lots of things going on, and I hope that it goes so, so well for you. Let's get it bigger and better every year. Put Gibraltar on the map as one of the best places to come and do Pride. And enjoy. And thanks for coming tonight, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, it is the end of the first episode. Thank you so much to those who wrote in on the WhatsApp. Thank you to the girls for being out there with their opinions. And thank you to me, because I turned up. Anyway, we will be here again next Monday at 9 o'clock with more to talk about. And I will have a different panel then as well. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.
The